Alright, what's up? It's your boy Starter back for another ZZ video. So today we're gonna do some summons for Yuzuha, see how they go. But before I get started, I really appreciate you guys drop a like, comment, subscribe. Would really help me out trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video.
Subscribe would really help me out trying to get 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. But like we said, let's get into these summons for Yuzuha here. Really dope and hype support character who, you know, boosting the anomaly team basically. Gonna be really good for Miyabi. That's like the main reason why you want to summon her, because she's basically just Esther Yao but for anomaly character. So we'll see how well or poorly our pulls go. I'm gonna hope our pulls go well, to be honest, because you know, I mean, I do have enough to pity Yuzuha here, but ideally I would prefer to get her earlier, just so I have more pulls for whoever may be coming out like next patch or whatever that I might be interested in as well. Since there are a couple characters from this season 2 that they have like shown off that I'm like, I'd say I'm pretty interested in, to be honest. Yeah, I don't want it to use my other currency here. Let's see. What's jump a couple here? Like 40 pulls. See how we'll do with that. Nothing yet. I'm pretty sure we're fresh off pity, like, so basically we can lose 50-50 here, and as you guys can see, we're at 54 searches here. But yeah, so basically we could win the 50-50 or we could lose 50-50, as well as, you know, maybe get a S rank character early, maybe. That'd be kind of cool, eh? You know, I wouldn't complain about that we got an S rank early here. Oh, okay, that's actually really early. That's actually really early for me. Okay, if I can, I'll take it. Yo, wouldn't it be crazy, chat? Wouldn't it be crazy if we get Yuzuha right here, right now? Wouldn't that be fucking crazy if we just see Yuzuha just pop in right here, right now? That would actually be kind of insane. No way! Yo, what? Let's go! 150-50, let's fucking go, chat. Woo! Let's fucking go! Okay, that's actually fucking hype. That is actually fucking hype. We won 50-50, chat. Let's fucking go! Free play for the win, baby! I don't have the some paid currency on my account, but I'll get into that, into why that is, but let's go! I gotta use it for, not for full, I guess free, right? But let's go. Actually makes me really happy here. Let me go ahead and do something I sometimes forget to do, some gacha games, which is get rid of my cam for a little bit, just to get a nice little shot there without the, you know, my cam being in the way. But that's actually really cool. That's really good. We basically got her in how many pulls was that? It said 50 until, so it's like 30 pulls, right? I think, yeah, I think I got her in like 30-40 pulls. Yeah, something like that. 30-40 pulls is how many pulls I basically did together. And no 50-50 guaranteed either, so that's really crazy. That is really crazy. So right now I'm rocking then 15, so about 100 pulls left over. So I got 100 pulls left over plus an additional 34 here. So that's pretty cool. I honestly could roll a bit more and I could try and get her Wenjin, but at the same time she doesn't really need it. Like if we look at what the Wenjin does, right? Oh, besides, you know, the cool effects here, this is the only reason why I'm kind of interested in the Wenjin, just because like cool hair effects. That's one thing that I kind of do like Bazizis, like when you get a character's weapon, they actually like visually look a little bit differently. What is it? So yeah, this one basically just gives her energy regen, and then when the wearer uses their EX or the E ability or ultimate, you deal physical damage, and then their anomaly mastery increases by 30 for 40 seconds. And then when the wearer's equipper, and then when the equipper's aftershock hits an enemy, all squad members' anomaly proficiency increases by 60 for 40 seconds. So basically, she gives allies 60 anomaly proficiency, and then she gives herself 30 anomaly mastery on top of the energy regen. So I mean, like, you know, it's not bad. It's pretty good. But it's not something like, you know, you really need, right? Like, but like, you know, someone like Miyabi here, you probably would want to go for her Wenjin because it's like way better. But luckily for me, I already have both. I already have Miyabi and I already have her Wenjin, so I'm chilling. So I'm pretty happy, not gonna lie, chat. I'm really fucking happy. I think at this point we're just gonna do a couple here just to see if we can get this Bang Boo. Now, one thing I don't know about this Bang Boo is I don't know if it has the same kind of like gimmick as like the most recent Bang Boo that with Yixuan, where if you get like 3 dupes into it, then you're able to use the Bang Boo with just one character of the like faction, basically. I kind of hope they start doing that with Bang Boos. Now, it does kind of suck that you have to get multiple copies of it, but at the same time, at least it's cool that there's an option to where like you don't need to run like the full like 2 characters of that team, right? Which technically, if anything, it's cheaper because that means you don't really have to like pull with like actual money, right? To get both characters unless you want both characters. So I think honestly, like it works out pretty well in that regard. Miss SMA. Oh, we could probably check it out right now, actually. If it does have that feature, like, because I'm pretty sure we should be able to check it out real quick.
What is it? You know, take a look at my Yuzuha, right? Let's take a look at my Yuzuha, right? After those pulls, so you guys can see what my final build for her is looking like. So we got a nice 3k attack here, 120 anomaly mastery, and then with 200 anomaly proficiency. I don't have her skills all the way juiced up, so these can definitely be increased a little bit more. I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't had time to like farm these up as much. Still working on these. If you're wondering which ones to focus on, I'd say probably focus on her E, then probably the swap, and or the ultimate. Though I'd say probably just be better to go always focus on E, then the ultimate, and then like the swap, and then lastly, of course, especially because this is a support character, this will be the last thing you do as a basic attack if you really want to go all the way. Otherwise, I probably won't level up basic attack too much, but then again, she does do pretty decent damage, so it wouldn't be too bad of an idea if you really wanted to, but I'd save it for last. Now, equipment, there's a couple different things you could run. The set I'm running her on is the Astral Yao set, basically, which is pretty nice. Basically, you get a nice juicy buff to whoever's coming in, as well as an attack buff as well. I'm also running the 2-piece of the Vivian set to get a little bit more anomaly mastery, which is pretty cool. Overall, you do want to focus on getting at least 3k. What is it? Yeah, like about 3k attack is what you really want to go for, bare minimum, and then you want to focus on like other like stats as well, like anomaly is what you would want to focus on. And then I'm running this W engine as well. You could use hers. I heard whipping cradle is actually pretty good as well as another option if you really want to run that. If you do have that, if you did, you know, maybe select, if you did select that from your from the anniversary, right? If you did select that, you could run that on her, or you could just run the Lucy one as well. The Lucy engine is also pretty good. It's not too bad. Of course, I did also buy her summer skin because hey, it looked pretty cool. So I was like, I wanted to get it because yeah, hey, I mean, her basic outfit looks nice too, but hey, you know, summer outfits go crazy. Am I right, guys? Now for teams, if you guys are wondering what teams you can run on Yuzuha, it's very simple. It's really not too difficult as to like what teams you can build with her. If I can find the, I forgot, where's the section for building teams again? Kind of forgot a little bit. Give me a second. All right, took me a minute to find it. So you could run a couple different teams here. You could run a team like this, where it's full anomaly. So you could run like Miyabi, Yuzuha, and then Bernice. I don't think this is a really good team, but it's like kind of like an idea, right? Like what you could build. You could also do Yuzuha, Bernice, and Jane Doe. If I can find her, she might not be here because I don't own her. Yeah, it looks like she's not here because I don't own her. But yeah, that would also be a good team as well if you do Bernice and Jane Doe with Yuzuha. That'd be really good. Or you could run like a Yuzuha team with Miyabi and run Lycan. That would also be really good as well. So that way you have your ice. Basically, you can run the Shark Bamboo. And then, you know, Miyabi's getting the extra buffs from Yuzuha here because she's anomaly, right? And yeah, you know, there's a couple different options. Basically, as long as they're an anomaly DPS character, Yuzuha's going to be able to buff them and going to be able to make them do a lot more damage. And basically the way she works is that whatever she does swap in or does her E basically on an enemy and whatnot, she applies like a debuff, basically kind of like a DOT, and then that DOT will transform to whatever character you're playing as in terms of the element, so it'll swap to that element. Basically kind of like a simple gist of how she works for the most part, on top of buffing the anomaly damage and attack of the anomaly character that you're using. And that's, you know, basically about it for teams. You wouldn't, oh, of course, another great team, right, is Vivian and Miyabi would also be really good too. You can't really run her with I think, could you run her in Yixuan? I kind of forget.
What brings you here this time?
I guess you could technically run her in Yixuan, but since Yixuan isn't really an anomaly character, right, she's Aura Inc, technically doesn't really count, even though it does have anomaly built in and whatnot. It's not like an official anomaly character, so she wouldn't really be able to buff Yixuan nearly as much as someone like Miyabi. So I'd say for someone like Yixuan here, you probably would still be running Astrogao and Pan here, or you could just run her actual full team, which is, you know, Pan and Fufu or Jufufu as well. You could just run that for Yixuan, you know. But yeah, that's basically about it. Like overall, Yuzuha is a great character. I would recommend to pull for her because she's, you know, like I just said, a great character. She's another really top tier buffer. She's on the same tier as Esther Yao, but of course Esther Yao is just for general like attack buffs and whatnot for your teams, whereas Yuzuha is almost the same thing. A little bit more niche though, because she's specifically built for anomaly teams, so she's gonna be really great with them. But regardless, still a really good pickup. Now, if you guys are decisive a little bit as to who you should be pulling between her and Miyabi, and you guys don't maybe have Miyabi, I would highly recommend going for Miyabi first, because she's a really top tier character, really strong DPS character, will carry you through so much of the game basically because of how great she is just by herself. So I would recommend pulling for her. Now, you know, if you maybe are wondering, oh, maybe should go for Miyabi and Yuzuha, or Miyabi and her weapon, and then maybe if you get lucky, go for Yuzuha, I would probably say focus on Miyabi, make sure you get her. Once you get Miyabi, probably go for Yuzuha, because Yuzuha is going to be like a more long-term beneficial character-wise. Yes, Miyabi's weapon is cool, it's going to help her do a lot more damage, and it's going to make her look a lot cooler with all the cool SFX, but eventually Miyabi will get power creep probably at some point. So, and the fact that Yuzuha here can be put on the multiple teams, it can still buff Miyabi, so you can get some damage buffs from there. I'd say it'd be better to go for the characters, and then after that, maybe if you really want to, then maybe decide, you know, if you really wanted to, you could pull for the weapon. But regardless, so I would highly recommend going for Miyabi first, and then Yuzuha, even though Yuzuha is a really great and amazing support. If you don't have Miyabi, I would highly recommend getting Miyabi first, and then going for Yuzuha. Of course, if you already have Miyabi, then yeah, you know, very easy choice here. Now, if maybe you had Miyabi, but you didn't pull the weapon, but you're wondering, oh, but I still want to maybe get Yuzuha, or should I go for the weapon first? Same thing, I'd just go for Yuzuha first and then go for the weapon, just because Yuzuha is going to be more beneficial for long term. Also, real quick thing, this Bangbu does have the same thing as the last Bangbu, which is cool. So it seems like all future Bangbus will have this feature, or basically when you do collect 3 dupes of this, the passive here, or the requirement of needing 2 or more characters from a certain like squad, will be reduced to 1. So like for Bellion, if you get 3 dupes into him, you will now only need 1 character from the summit squad basically. So if you have Yixuan, there you go, Bing Bam Boom, you're good there. However, with this new one, which is actually, you know, kind of good actually, it does healing, some energy regen. If you do have 3 dupes into this, you'll only need 1 Spook Shack character. So basically, you'll only need to run just the new Yuzuha, and that's it. You know, you can use the full benefit of that Bangbu with that. So Bangbus from now on will be a bit more expensive, so make sure you do save up your currency, because some of these future ones might be really, really good, and you will probably need to at least get 3 dupes now, just so you can get this like really juicy like buff basically to the passive here, which I just realized I'm blocking. Let me move my camera here so you guys can see, just so you don't take my word for it. But yeah, see, so this says 2 here, Bellion says 1. I did check, so for the new one, Miss SMA here, it does actually get changed to 1 when you do have 3 dupes into it. So like I said, I would highly recommend from here on out to start saving up your Bangbu currency or whatever, and then deciding which ones you really want to go for. I think this one's actually not too bad, but of course it wouldn't be a bad idea either to just wait and see what future ones come out, and then decide which one you're going to dump more currency on, so that way you can at least get the 3 dupes minimum, so that way you can get benefit from that. Granted, of course, it does also kind of co-align with like which character you're pulling with, because like say if your Bangbu comes out, it's really, really good, and you want to get it where, you know, get 3 copies of it to where it reduces to 1 character from that squad. The problem with that though is that you would then need to pull a character or own a character from that squad, so there's a bit of a caveat with that to keep in mind. So, you know, probably want to kind of align both together, or maybe like, you know, if you get a really good Bangbu comes up but you don't have enough to get the character from it, maybe the character will come back later, or the character will come back later, so you can run back then and then pull them there or whatever, or maybe another character will come on in the future from that squad and you can use that Bangbu. You know, it just kind of depends. But at the same time, you know, just be careful with these summons now, because they do matter quite a bit more if you want to make some of these Bangbus a bit easier to use, especially if you're a free-to-play player like I am. Well, free to play, and I guess technically now I'm like a goldfish because I did buy the skin, but you know, semi-free to play, then you know, you would ideally want to be careful with how you do your summons, because you know, you may not be able to pull the character that can use the Bangbu and whatnot, and yada yada yada. But yeah, you know, with that being said, hope this video helps you guys out, and I'm gonna see all you guys later. Good luck with you guys summons if you are pulling for Yuzuha or Miyabi, because they're great characters. Also, actually, now think about one last thing real quick. One last thing I did want to mention. I've said it a couple times in my streams, but I did want to mention here in this video just in case, that if I haven't done so before. There seems to be a bit of a weird schedule with, not schedule, a bit of a weird pattern with ZZZ, where, you know, when Miyabi came out, that was kind of like the 0.5 anniversary, kind of like a rework of ZZZ in a way. And that's when, you know, we got like a really, you know, OP Miyabi, really, you know, best character in the game, best in terms of DPS, right? Best DPS in the game. And then literally the patch after, we got Aster Yao, best support in the game when she came out, right? Top tier support character. And then, you know, she had Evelyn, which is like a pretty good DPS character, not like crazy like Miyabi, but still pretty good and also really hot. What I did want to mention though is that from there, you know, we had a couple decent banners, nothing too crazy, nothing too overpowered, up until now, which is the actual first anniversary, where, well, first anniversary, technically going back one patch, right? Because with Yixuan, right? First anniversary, we got Yixuan, really strong DPS character. But what I did want to say was, you know how we had Miyabi, then the patch after we had Aster Yao, basically, and then I guess I should bring up the fact that Evelyn also came out during that patch after Miyabi. They're kind of the same thing here, where last patch we had Yixuan for the first anniversary, really great DPS character, not more stronger than Miyabi, but basically almost there, like almost on the same tier as Miyabi in terms of like how good she is. Like I'd say Miyabi is like here, and then Yixuan is like slightly underneath, almost inching towards like being at the same tier. Is in my opinion how I kind of feel about both characters in terms of their strengths. I just feel like Miyabi's a bit stronger, but like Yixuan's like almost there. Regardless though, Yixuan's really strong DPS character, really great, right? Basically number 2 best DPS in the game. And then now the patch after, which is this patch, we got Yuzuha, another really top tiered support character, a little bit more niche, but still really top tier and really good. And what I did want to point out was this kind of pattern they're seemingly doing. Now it could completely change, right? And I could completely be wrong about this in a couple months, but there seems to be a bit of a pattern, which could be kind of good, to be honest, where it seems to be where they're going to be releasing maybe like a really top tier DPS character around like a anniversary or special, like maybe like a Chinese New Year thing. But so far it seems to be more like an anniversary kind of thing, or like a half anniversary thing, which so far Hoyoverse hasn't done any like half anniversary stuff. Some gacha games do, Hoyoverse hasn't. They've only done first anniversary or like actual anniversaries. So this may be the first game where they're kind of doing like a bit of a half anniversary kind of thing, where basically, regardless, you know, anniversary, we'll just generalize it to just anniversary stuff, right? Where it'll be like a strong DPS character, and then the following patch after will be a really top tier support character. So that's kind of like a pattern I'm starting to notice a little bit, where maybe that's how things will be going in the towards the future of this game, where it'll be like a couple mid characters that are like kind of good, not too crazy, and then it'll be like a really crazy or really good DPS character, and then the patch after will be a really good support character, and then rinse and repeat. So that's kind of how things are going. I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was a little bit interesting. I'm sure some of you guys have probably noticed if you thought about it. But yeah, you know, that could mean, you know, maybe it might be worth as a free play player just to skip for almost every single character until then. But then again, you should also just pull for what characters you do enjoy. So there's that, right? You know, it's a gacha game, you might as well have fun, even though some things in this game can be a little bit challenging. If you don't have some more stronger characters, you know, you can still make it work with other characters, right? It's not like, you know, like Ambi, that you can't use it for like newer content, right? Because it's still not too bad, right? Anyways, that's the other thing I want to say real quick, just like a little bit of like speculation, theory, crafting, I guess, whatever, about how future banners may go. But with that being said though, I'm gonna see all you guys later. Peace and take care, everybody.